Hi guys, welcome to today's call for Love to Be Healthy. Today we're going to do a recap on everything because people have been doing obviously 2B Mindset for a while now, and we just want to go over the principles and cover everything sort of from the start and freshen up because it helps to sort of go over things again and really sort of make sure that you're following to help you really get the best results possible. So first we'll start with the principles. So obviously water first is the number one principle that you should be following. I think they say 50% of your body weight in water, don't they? In a day, more if it's hot. But the main principle is to make sure, obviously you're drinking water through the day, but before you eat anything as well, you want to be consuming water to sort of, help make sure you're hydrated, but also it fills you up a little bit, it stops you overeating, it helps curb that sort of need for eating more food.
Do you know what I always do with that is, like, when I'm prepping what I'm going to eat, particularly at dinner time or even at breakfast while my Shakeology is like blending whatever, I just out of habit pick it up out the fridge and drink as I'm doing it, and I find that I consume like loads of it just while I'm kind of faffing around and preparing what I'm going to eat.
Yeah, I think you can easily drink like half a bottle before you even know what you've done. So it's definitely, just to have it around and use it really helps. I take it everywhere. I've even got to put a little clip on it now so I can like take it with me and clip it onto my buckle if I need to. But it's handy. When I go away, I'm going to clip it onto the pram so we don't lose it. So be prepared. Right, the next one is veggies most. Now for me and probably most people, this is the biggest change probably to your eating. For me, I'm eating more vegetables than I've ever eaten in my life, and I was never big on vegetables. But probably eating maybe half my food now is vegetables, which is crazy. But veggies most is an important one because it should be the first thing you eat as well to help get the nutrients into your body straight away. So make sure you've got your vegetables, depending on what meal it is, which we'll cover in a minute. We'll sort of make sure you're eating those and you've got the correct proportion to with regards to sort of your proteins and FFCs and everything.
Yeah, that's right. And don't forget that, if you want to eat more vegetables as snacks as well, then go for it. Carrots, cucumbers, anything like that, easily that you can purchase dead cheap as well. Just, have them in the fridge, put them into little pots as well, and then you can just take them to work or take them out with you. And it's just an easy option as you want, and that'll easily top up your veggies most as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love to snack on them. I generally snack on like peppers are my thing. So don't forget, it doesn't have to just be cooked vegetables. I know quite a few people aren't so keen on cooked vegetables, but happily eat raw and vice versa. There is no hard and fast rule as to how you eat your vegetables. It's just a case of making sure you include the right percentage of them every time you have a meal. So like at lunchtime, I very rarely eat cooked vegetables unless I'm eating out. So more often than not, I'll like eat cherry tomatoes and peppers and, stuff that you can literally just grab and go.
Yeah.
That's very much how we do it. So don't feel like you have to cook up a load of spinach and mushrooms and, you know what I mean, every time you have vegetables, because you don't.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do like work in town or in an office or somewhere that has like a convenience shop as well, like I work in town and I'm really close to M&S. So if you wanted to get your veggies in, just buy those little snack portions of like broccoli or mange tout or runner beans and things like that. Just stab the packet a few times and then stick it in the microwave for a minute and 10 seconds. and that'll easily top up your meals as well. I've done it several times with the proteins, and you can make a really great healthy meal from that as well.
Good tip. Right, next one is tracking. So obviously now there's also the app, which wasn't there at the start. So you've got your you've got your tracker on your app, and you've got your book as well. So whichever one works for you, make sure you use it, because knowing what you've put in your body each day, whether it's, obviously there's silly carbs, which you're allowed to have, but if you've tracked it and you know that you've eaten it and still lost weight, then that's great. But if you've eaten it and gained a couple of pounds, then that's something that you need to change or accommodate for, or understand what will happen when you have them. So really sort of keep a track of what you're eating as you go along. And the next one is also weighing, which kind of ties into tracking. So each day, obviously, you can weigh yourself and have an idea of whether you gained a pound, lost a pound, and how you're really getting on with your food and what your intake is, and you can adjust it accordingly. So that's pretty much the principles of how the whole program works. Don't know if one of you wants to cover the meals portion. Yeah.
I can cover the meals. So just quickly going back to the tracking and the weighing, it is just making sure that you are doing it, because what happens, and we're all guilty of it, is you do something for so long and you think, I don't need to track anymore because I know what I'm doing. I don't need to weigh myself every day because I kind of know where I'm at. And you can sort of fall into bad habits again really easily. And I think if you find that you aren't tracking as much or you're not weighing as much, it's a really good thing to revisit and go back to and start doing religiously again, because it's just part of making it like a healthy habit, something that you do every day. And it literally takes a couple of minutes every day to do, but it can make such a difference to the type of weight loss you get.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because you're not going to eat the same meals and same foods day in, day out. You're going to try different foods, different meals and things like that. And so you do have to keep tracking it, because you won't see the changes otherwise. So you won't know what's different about what you're eating compared to what you're losing. So it's really important. And it's really great as well, because looking into the future, say in a few months' time, you can look back on that, what really worked for you and what didn't work for you now. So it all helps just to keep an online diary about it. Doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's just forming healthy habits, isn't it, that you always do. And over time you will do that. You will form healthy habits. So going over the plate it method, obviously breakfast is 50% protein, 50% FFCs. I think actually the three of us are all totally different in how we have our breakfasts. And that's absolutely fine, as long as that is the rule of thumb that you follow. It doesn't really matter. For instance, I will have my Shakeology as my breakfast because I add stuff to it. So I add half a banana, which is my FFCs. I add the protein, which is Shakeology, and then I also put almond milk in and some peanut butter. And for me, being busy in the morning, taking the kids to school, whatever else I'm up to, a shake is perfect for me for breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast person. Well, as I know, like Chris, you like eggs, don't you? You quite often have eggs or fruit and, I want to say fruit and granola. Fruit yogurt, yeah. So we're all different in how we have our breakfast, which is fine. You don't have to have the same thing. At the weekend, when I've got more time, I'll often do banana pancakes because I like them and the kids like them as well. Lunch, 50% veggies, 25% protein, 25% FFCs. Again, with lunch, you can have it how you want to have it. So don't feel that that has to all be on your plate in one meal, if that makes sense. Like for me, I quite like to split my lunch. So I'll have like some raw veg, and sometimes I'll have like a wholemeal bagel thin or a piece of brown toast. And then I'll have a bit of fruit and a bit of yogurt. I quite like to split mine, whereas some people like to have all their lunch together. I don't know, do you guys do that? Do you split it or do you have it together?
No, I have it all together.
Yeah. What about you, Tap?
Yeah, just on a plate or a lunchbox. So, if I'm bringing things into work, I'll have it in a big bowl, but then I might go and get some packets of chicken or something and add it on top, you know, so
Yeah.
have it all together.
Yeah, cool. Dinner, 75% veggies, 25% protein. So you're taking out the FFC in the evening. I don't know how other people are, but I could say that there's been a couple of times I've been out for a meal and I've had FFC in the evening. And for me, it always shows on the scales the next day. So for me, I know that it works really well for me not to have that FFC in the evening. Because I don't work out in the evening either. I work out in the morning. So for me, having those FFCs earlier on really works. So again, it's kind of about finding what works for you and trying to use that play tip method. I'm really used to that now. I'm really used to not having my carbs in the evening. I don't know how you guys are with it.
Yeah, that's the biggest change for me, but it definitely works. I feel better when I don't have the carbs of an evening. My only problem is I do work out at night, so depending how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling like I need the extra energy, I will have an FFC. Feel good, I'll just have my energized before my workout, half an hour before, and I'm good to go. So I just make it work.
Yeah, definitely. I feel less bloated in the evenings, especially when after my classes and things like that, or when I get home from work, just want to chill out and just want to just eat dinner without any pastas, without any like bread and things like that. I feel so much better for not having you know, too many carbs in the evenings, and it really does make a difference.
Yeah, it's such a small thing, but it does make a big difference, doesn't it? It makes you feel a lot better. Snack wise, snacks are totally up to you. Some people have to have snacks every day and that's how they work, and that's absolutely fine. And other people don't. Or you may find that you don't have snacks for 2 days and then, you know, on that third day you fancy a snack. So the way they kind of say with snacks is 50% veggies, 25% protein, 25% FFC. So kind of reach for those veggies first again. So like if you could maybe have, you know, some carrot sticks or some, you know, whatever you fancy really.
Right, so next is the more sure. So if you've followed the guide, I think Kirsty, you've got it there, haven't you? So more sure is basically a system which you can follow where it allows you to sort of eat what you want to a certain degree. So you have your water first, you have your vegetables second, followed by, you know, the rest of your meal. And then if you wanted, you know, a dessert at the end, you can have it. And then the idea is then, say if you want more food after that, you have to follow the same system. So again, it sort of rotates around, and you've got to have your water first, vegetables again, and your other parts of food, and then dessert at the end. So it's a clever system where it makes sure that you're really sort of full and satisfied, and it stops you from eating just cake after cake after cake. Normally if you've followed it at all, I've done it a couple of times and I can't fit that cake in by the time I've eaten more vegetables and more meat. I use it, especially when we've got like a barbecue or something. It's brilliant for stuff like that. Have you guys used it at all?
Yeah, I was just going to say barbecues, it's perfect because there's like always loads of meat around and vegetables and everything. So the more sure method works brilliantly at barbecues, or even at buffets actually.
Yeah.
You know, decide that you want to go up for that second plate of food, you can totally follow the more sure model. And like you say, once you've had that second plate of things that have got veggies and protein and everything on, you usually can't fit that second cake in that you're determined you're going to eat.
Yeah, it just means that you're eating the right stuff instead of the wrong stuff. And you know, you're not going to overeat on cakes and what have you. So it definitely works, and you know, you're not feeling hungry and you're not feeling like you've eaten too much of the wrong stuff either, but you're also not restricting yourself. So it's a clever system, and definitely a useful tool to have in your bag for when you go to a barbecue or a party or an event like that. So if you're not aware of it, make sure you get, you know, you print it off, or like Kirsty has, you check it out on your phone and have it there as a useful tool.
It's always on my fridge, always on my fridge.
Get it laminated.
What?
Get it laminated.
What was that? Yeah, well, do you know what? I haven't laminated yet, but I do have a laminator. You'll be surprised. You know what I'm like.
Right, so next we would just want to sort of reach out to you guys. So if you're watching this video and you've sort of covered pretty much the refresh of it or the most useful parts, obviously there's more, but they're pretty much covered in the videos. So that's what we want to say to you next. Go back and watch the videos again. And that includes us. We should all really go back and watch them again, because there's so much in there. And okay, you've watched them at the start before you got really to know the program, but going back now and reviewing them, you might even pick more bits from it that you didn't sort of understand. I know there's probably people in this group that, you know, had no idea what carbs and other food groups were. So definitely, you know, go and sort of get to know them all. Go through the videos again and just refresh yourself, because that's what they're there for.
Definitely. I think you've got, like, it's twofold. You're going to pick up things that you didn't pick up the first time, like Chris said, but you're also maybe going to realise some things that maybe you're doing you shouldn't necessarily be doing, and it might really help with like your weight loss going forward. You know, you may be counting something as a, I don't know, something as a FFC that should be something else, you know. So it's so worth kind of going through them again and just revisiting them. You don't have to do them all in one go and like completely stress yourself out. Just a couple, you know, each day. Just kind of set some time aside and go, right, I've got 10 minutes, I'm just going to watch a couple of them. Or genuinely just go back to the really relevant to that you're struggling with right now and go back to those first.
Yeah, they're not
absolutely. On videos, so you know there's a chance that you probably won't remember everything on there, but there might be some videos which might not have been relevant to you at that moment in time when you first watched it. So for example, when you first started it, you know, you might not take too much about hitting a plateau, whereas now month 3 you might have hit a plateau, so it's more relevant for you now, so it's even more relevant to watch that video right now for you.
Good idea. And then we just want to know what changes you've found. So, you know, if you've lost weight or you've changed your eating habit and found things that really work for you, if you share them in the comments below, it'd be great. We'd love to hear people's feelings on it all. You know, I think us 3 have all found benefits from it that we've taken away, and you know, seen changes in our bodies and what have you. I know for me, sort of the extra veg has really benefited me. I feel much better, much more energized from it, I think. You know, I was only eating maybe veg at night most of the time, but only a small portion compared to what I eat now. So I definitely feel better for that. Have you guys had any takeaways that you've got from it?
Yeah, I've kind of similar really, like energy wise I've definitely felt that I've got more energy because I'm eating loads more veg. I've always been a bit of a veggie person anyway, but like Chris said, my portion of veg probably has been a lot smaller. I'm not a massive eater, so actually it's been quite a change for me to kind of start adding more veg and maybe making my meals a little bit bigger, because I'm someone that's always been used to eating little and often. So it was a big change for me to kind of try and eat just the 3 main meals and not put those snacks in. And at first I was still kind of eating little and often really, whereas now I am generally just having those 3 meals, and I'll only generally put a snack in if I know I'm going to be out the house for 6 hours and my meal's going to be a bit later or there's a bigger gap in between. So yeah, it's definitely benefited me, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. With my mindset about everything has completely changed. I can compare it to if you go on holiday for 2 weeks and all you've done is eat really bad food, and when you come back, you absolutely crave like a good salad or a good meal or something really fresh. That's how I feel most of the time, or all of the time now. You know, if I have something bad, you know, I'd want to crave for something fresh like vegetables or, you know, something nutritious and healthy, as opposed to, oh yeah, I just want to eat I just want to eat more chips. I just want to eat more burgers, you know, that sort of thing. Once it's out of the system, that's kind of out the way. It's definitely a treat, not cheat. So, you know, my complete outlook of the way I look at food and how I come across food, it has changed massively. And I suppose that's the purpose of the mindset, to change the way that you look at food and your relationship with food. And I definitely found that has been the biggest impact for me personally, even though, you know, I still have the treats and everything like that, but I'll always still go back to getting vegetables. They'll always be a massive part of my food shop every single week.
Yeah, you're probably all like me, and when you go to the supermarket, most of your food is vegetables now. It's and everyone looks at you a bit weird when you're just piling up loads of veg on the belt.
You feel proud for sticking it on the conveyor belt, and you know, they'll see all of the different veg that is on the conveyor belt, and you know, you might see like I don't know, like a tub of ice cream amongst all of the green stuff, you know. So that's great.
Yes, it's quite it makes me laugh.
People think I've got a pepper problem because I usually have like 3 or 4 bags of peppers that I go and buy one time. People look at me as if to say, you clearly like them. I'm like, yeah, I do.
So that's pretty much all we wanted to cover today. The only last thing I want to mention is we are doing our Love to Be Healthy challenge all through summer, which is taking a picture of your water bottle and posting it in the group, or posting it on your social media just with the hashtag Love to Be Healthy. And it's just a fun little competition that we've got out there. Sort of, you know, share and just a bit of fun really. And we're going to give a prize to the best sort of photo that we all agree to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, if you need any help or support, by all means reach out to one of us. We're more than happy to help you. And other than that, thank you guys. I don't know if you want to add anything else.
No, that's a great recap. It certainly reminded me of a few things, and I hope it's been useful for anyone watching back as well.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you later. Oh, you good?
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.